Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the images we drew on the board in the developmental biology class. This is talking about how the ovarian follicle develops before ovulation occurs. So let's go over to the pictures here. If we go to the relevant pictures that we need to talk about, this is it. So starts off, you have all of these immature kind of primary oocytes that are hanging out in the ovary. Now, about 6 months before this oocyte's menstrual cycle, a couple dozen of these oocytes are going to be recruited to develop, and they're going to form this primary follicle. Now, keep in mind, this is happening way before that oocyte's menstrual cycle, almost 6 months. And this is what this primary follicle looks like. It's an oocyte that is surrounded by these follicular cells, which are cells of the follicle that'll help this oocyte develop. Okay, about a week or two later, this is going to become the secondary follicle, and you notice some other features have kind of developed. First, we're going to have this blue kind of ring around the oocyte. This is called the zona pellucida, and it consists of these like a thick mesh of glycoproteins, which is going to help protect and nourish the oocyte. We're going to have some granulosa cells, which are just follicular cells that are surrounding the oocyte. And then finally, we have this outer layer called the theca follicula. This theca follicula is actually pretty tough and filled with blood vessels. It's going to help nourish the oocyte and also protect it physically. Okay. Then this follicle is going to continue to develop. About 60 days before the cycle, it's going to become the tertiary follicle. And this is a lot bigger, you can kind of see. So we still have that oocyte in the middle surrounded by the blue zona pellucida. And in addition, we have another layer around this called the corona radiata. One big feature that's developed is this fluid-filled space called the antrum. It contains follicular fluid, which helps to kind of maintain the appropriate conditions for the development of the oocyte. Also contains nutrients for it. Surrounding the antrum, we're going to have more follicular cells, and we still have that theca follicula, which surrounds the whole follicle. Okay, now this thing is going to continue to get bigger and bigger until it becomes the mature follicle. This is going to occur after that particular menstrual cycle begins, and this mature follicle is going to be the dominant follicle, which ultimately is going to release the egg during ovulation. We started out with like a couple dozen that went through this development for this particular menstrual cycle, but by the time we get to the stage of the mature follicle, which is after this tertiary one, only one of them remains. All the other follicles have they have been discarded. So you got one that remains. Now, when ovulation occurs, what happens is that this mature follicle will migrate to the edge of the ovary, and it will release the oocyte along with that follicular fluid. And what this looks like, so ultimately what is going to get released is this, okay? So the oocyte's still going to be surrounded by the zona pellucida and the corona radiata, which are just follicular cells that are left over. And that is what's going to be released into the oviduct. You'll notice that we have this first polar body, which is a little black dot. That's one of the discarded cells as the result of meiosis 1, because remember, meiosis 1 doesn't complete until after ovulation, which is right now. Okay, so that's kind of the development, and this is ultimately going to be the oocyte that would potentially get fertilized, including these layers that are around it.